The recycling yards of Station Omega-7 stretched for kilometers through the void of space, a glittering graveyard of derelict ships and abandoned dreams. Rena Blake guided her salvage pod between the hulking masses of dead vessels, her experienced eyes scanning for anything the automated systems might have missed. After 15 years of deep space salvage work, she'd developed an almost supernatural sense for finding value in other people's garbage. Reading elevated energy signatures in Sector 4 Beta, her ship's AI announced in its characteristically dry tone. Probability of viable salvage, 32.8%. Rena adjusted her course, green eyes narrowing as she studied the massive cargo freighter drifting ahead. The vessel's hull bore the distinctive angular architecture of Valari design, its once pristine white surface now stained with the rust of centuries. The Valari, one of the galaxy's elder races, were notoriously protective of their technology. Finding one of their ships in a human salvage yard was unusual enough to pique her interest. "Run a full spectral analysis, Kai," she commanded, referring to her AI companion. "Something feels off about this one." Initiating scan. Please note that salvaging Valari technology violates Section 47 of the Galactic Commerce Act. Rena smiled, running a hand through her short auburn hair. "Only if we get caught. Besides, they abandoned it in our jurisdiction. Finders keepers." The pod sensors penetrated the ancient vessel's hull, mapping its internal structure. Most compartments were empty, picked clean by previous salvagers. But deep within the cargo hold, something was causing interference with the scan. "Curious," Kai commented. "I'm detecting an anomalous energy signature. The pattern doesn't match any known Valari technology." That was enough for Rena. She maneuvered her pod toward a breach in the freighter's hull, engaging the magnetic clamps once inside. The emergency lights in her salvage suit cast eerie shadows as she made her way through the ship's corridors, each step echoing in the emptiness. "You know," she said, mostly to break the silence, "I've always wondered why the Valari treat humans like we're barely out of the Stone Age. They shared FTL technology with the Crixians centuries ago, but we had to reverse engineer everything ourselves. The official position of the Valari Council is that humanity isn't sufficiently evolved for advanced technology sharing," Kai reminded her. "Right. Because we're too aggressive and emotionally unstable. Meanwhile, the Crixians are currently waging their third expansion war in as many decades." She reached the cargo hold's main door, its control panel long dead. The manual release took some effort, but the door eventually groaned open, revealing a vast chamber filled with scattered debris. Her suit sensors indicated breathable atmosphere, so she retracted her helmet. The anomalous energy signature was stronger now, pulling her toward a small container half buried under fallen support beams. As she approached, she noticed strange markings on its surface, definitely not Valari script, but something far older. "Kai, are you seeing this? Can you translate?" "Negative. The language predates all known galactic civilizations. However, the energy signature is increasing in response to your proximity." Rena carefully cleared away the debris. The container was about the size of a shoe box, its metallic surface covered in swirling patterns that seemed to shift in the light. When she touched it, a warm sensation spread through her fingers, and the patterns began to glow with a soft blue light. "Fascinating," Kai observed. "The artifact appears to be responding to your genetic signature. This technology may predate even the precursors." "The precursors?" Rena whistled. "You mean the mythical race that supposedly seeded the galaxy with life millions of years ago?" Before Kai could respond, a deep rumble shook the ship. Rena's suit sensors screamed warnings as a massive vessel dropped out of FTL directly above them, a Valari warship. "Unauthorized salvage vessel," a stern voice echoed through her comm system. "You have accessed restricted space and handled prohibited technology. Prepare for immediate boarding." Rena looked at the glowing container in her hands, then at the nearest escape route. "Kai, what are our chances of outrunning a Valari warship? Approximately 0.034%. However, the artifact's energy signature appears to be intensifying. I'm detecting unusual fluctuations in local spacetime. The container's glow had spread to Rena's hands now, creating intricate patterns on her skin that matched the artifact's markings. She felt a strange connection forming, as if the ancient technology was trying to communicate directly with her mind. "Attention human," the Valari voice boomed again. "You will surrender the artifact immediately. This technology is not meant for lesser species." Rena's jaw tightened at the familiar condescension in the alien's tone. "Kai, prepare for emergency maneuvers. If we're going down, we're going down fighting." But as she spoke, the artifact's glow suddenly enveloped her entire body. Knowledge flooded her consciousness, fragments of a truth long buried. The precursors hadn't vanished, they had hidden themselves, scattered their legacy across the galaxy, waiting for worthy inheritors. And humanity, it seemed, had been part of their plan all along. "Impossible," the Valari commander's voice had lost its commanding edge. "The artifact has accepted a human as its bearer. This cannot be." Rena felt power coursing through her, understanding flooding her mind. The artifact wasn't just a relic, it was a key, one of many left behind by the precursors. And somehow, she had just become its guardian. "Kai," she said, her voice steadied despite the impossible situation. "Plot a course for Earth. It's time humanity learned the truth about their heritage." The artifact's energy surged, creating a bubble of distorted spacetime around their small vessel. As the Valari warship launched tractor beams, Rena felt instinctive knowledge guide her hands over the container's surface. Reality twisted, and Station Omega-7 vanished in a flash of blue light. They emerged in normal space hours later, the artifact's glow finally dimming. Rena slumped in her pilot's seat, exhausted but exhilarated. She had just defied the Valari, escaped using technology that shouldn't exist, and possibly discovered humanity's connection to the legendary precursors, not bad for a day's salvage work. "You realize," Kai noted, "that we are now technically fugitives from the most powerful civilization in known space." Rena looked at the artifact, its patterns now pulsing softly in sync with her heartbeat. Maybe it's time someone challenged their power. They've kept humanity down for too long, Kai. If this artifact is what I think it is, everything's about to change. As if in response, the container hummed, projecting a holographic star map into the pod's cabin. Dozens of points of light pulsed with the same blue energy, more artifacts, scattered across the galaxy, waiting to be found. "Well," Rena said, a smile spreading across her face, "looks like we've got some hunting to do." The ancient artifact pulsed with ethereal light as Rena studied the holographic map in her pod's cramped cabin. 3 days had passed since their escape from the Valari warship, and she'd barely slept, too fascinated by the knowledge slowly trickling into her consciousness through her connection with the device. "Your neural patterns are showing signs of stress," Kai announced. "Prolonged exposure to the artifact's data stream may have adverse effects." Rena rubbed her temples, trying to sort through the flood of alien memories and technical knowledge. "I'm fine. Besides, we need to understand this before we reach the next artifact's location. The nearest signal appears to be emanating from the Thorian Nebula," Kai noted. "A region notorious for illegal trading and pirate activity." "Perfect." Rena grinned. "The Valari avoid lawless spaces. We might actually have a chance to." A proximity alarm cut her off. A sleek vessel had dropped out of FTL nearby, its design unlike anything in Kai's database. As Rena watched, its hull shifted and rippled like liquid metal. "Unidentified vessel," a melodious voice filled their comm system. "I am Thex Van of the Nomad Collective. I come seeking dialogue with the bearer." Rena's hand hovered over the weapon controls. "The what now?" "The bearer," Thex repeated. "One who carries the legacy. We have waited centuries for the artifacts to choose their guardians. The artifact in Rena's lap hummed, its patterns briefly intensifying. Through their connection, she felt no sense of danger from the stranger. Kai, what do you think? The vessel's technology is beyond my ability to analyze. However, they could have attacked without warning if that was their intention. Rena took a deep breath. All right, Thex Van. Let's talk. But no funny business. The stranger's ship extended a docking tunnel, its interior shifting to accommodate her pod's design. When the airlock cycled open, Rena found herself face to face with a being that defied description. Thex's form was vaguely humanoid but seemed to be composed of crystalline structures that constantly rearranged themselves, creating patterns similar to those on the artifact. Welcome, bearer. Thex's voice seemed to come from everywhere at once. We have much to discuss and little time. The Valari are not the only ones hunting you now. Inside Thex's ship, Rena discovered an environment that seemed to react to thought itself. Walls became transparent or solid as needed, and information displayed itself directly in her mind. The Nomad Collective, Thex explained, are the descendants of those who chose exile rather than submit to the Great Suppression. We have watched and waited, maintaining the ancient technologies, preparing for the day when new bearers would arise. The Great Suppression? A period, roughly 50,000 years ago, when the elder races, led by the Valari, systematically eliminated or concealed all evidence of the precursor civilization. They feared the power of the legacy and what it might mean if younger species discovered their true potential. Rena's mind raced as pieces fell into place. That's why they keep humanity isolated? They're afraid we'll find out about all this? Precisely. Thex's crystalline form pulsed with approval. Humanity possesses a unique genetic marker, one that makes you particularly compatible with precursor technology. The Valari recognized this threat centuries ago and have worked to slow your species' development ever since. A holographic display materialized, showing various artifacts scattered across the galaxy. What you carry is more than a simple relic. It is a key to awakening humanity's dormant potential. Each artifact contains part of the legacy, knowledge, power, and truths that could shatter the current galactic order. And now the Valari know one of these artifacts has chosen a human bearer, Rena mused. No wonder they're freaking out. The situation is worse than you know. Thex's form darkened. The Crixians have learned of your existence as well. Their spies in Valari space reported your escape. They now hunt the artifacts with renewed vigor, believing they could use them to finally defeat their ancient rivals. As if on cue, multiple ships dropped out of FTL around them, the angular, predatory shapes of Crixian war vessels. Bearer, a harsh voice cut through their comms. Surrender the artifact and yourself to the Crixian Empire. We offer you power, wealth, and a place of honor in our new order. Rena felt the artifact's energy surge through her. Earth's orbital defense grid lit up as Rena's ship dropped out of FTL at the edge of the solar system. The artifact's energy signature had already changed the vessel's outer hull to mirror the patterns of authorized traffic, but she knew it wouldn't fool the authorities for long. Multiple defense platforms acquiring weapons lock, Kai reported. Earth Command requesting identification. Beside her, Thex's crystalline form shifted with concern. The Valari maintained observation posts on Mars. They will detect our presence soon. Then we'll have to be quick. Rena opened a channel to Earth Command. This is Rena Blake, Salvage Specialist Registration Number TC-847. I'm declaring a Class 1 emergency under the Stellar Independence Act. Authentication code, Blake 7 Delta 9. A tense moment passed before a gruff voice responded. Authentication accepted. However, your vessel is not in our database, and we're detecting unusual energy signatures. Maintain your position for boarding and inspection. Rena smiled. Sorry, but we don't have time for that. She reached out through her connection to the artifact, feeling its power merge with the ship's systems. The defense grid's targeting systems suddenly registered their ship in a dozen different locations simultaneously. Impressive, Thex noted. You're learning to manipulate quantum probability fields. They slipped past the confused defense platforms, entering Earth's atmosphere above the Pacific Ocean. The artifact guided them to a seemingly random location, a deep ocean trench that didn't appear on any official maps. "There's something down there," Rena murmured, watching the holographic display. "Something old." The ocean parted before their ship, the artifact's energy creating a bubble of air that extended all the way to the seafloor. There, half buried in ancient sediment, stood a structure that defied conventional physics, a building made of the same shifting, crystalline material as Thex's form. "A precursor archive," Thex explained, their voice filled with reverence. "One of many they left behind, hidden on worlds with potential. Your artifact is responding to its presence." Inside the underwater facility, dormant systems awakened at their approach. Holographic displays flickered to life, showing scenes from Earth's distant past. Rena watched in awe as the truth of human history unfolded before her. "We were engineered," she whispered, understanding flowing through her connection with the artifact. "The precursors didn't just seed Earth with life, they specifically designed humanity to one day inherit their legacy." "Yes." Thex moved through the ancient halls, their crystalline form resonating with the surrounding technology. "They recognized something unique in your species' potential. The capacity for both great technological achievement and deep emotional understanding. The ability to advance without losing your humanity." The facility's central chamber contained a massive crystalline matrix, a database of precursor knowledge. As Rena approached, the artifact in her possession linked with it, expanding their connection. Suddenly, she understood why the Valari had worked so hard to keep humanity isolated. "We're not just compatible with precursor tech," she realized. "We're its intended heirs. The precursors designed us to be their successors, to take their place as guardians of galactic civilization." Warning signals flashed through the facility. Above, multiple Valari warships had entered Earth's atmosphere, their energy signatures impossible to miss. "The observation post on Mars must have detected us," Thex said. "We must hurry. The knowledge in this archive is crucial." Rena felt the archive systems interfacing directly with her mind, downloading vast amounts of information. She saw the true history of the galaxy, how the elder races had risen to power in the precursor's absence, how they had suppressed younger species out of fear and jealousy, how they had hidden or destroyed any evidence of the precursor's plan. "They're deploying ground forces," Kai reported. "Multiple drop ships detected. The Earth Defense Force is responding, but they're outmatched." Through the artifact's enhanced perception, Rena could sense the panic spreading through Earth's defense networks. The Valari weren't just coming for her now, they were launching a full-scale intervention to prevent humanity from learning the truth. "Thex," she called out, "can you interface with Earth's communication networks? They need to understand what's happening." The crystalline being's form expanded, connecting with the archive's transmission systems. Across the planet, communication devices of all kinds began broadcasting the truth, humanity's true heritage, the precursor's legacy, and the centuries of suppression by the elder races. "The Valari will claim its propaganda," Thex warned. "They've had millennia to establish their narrative. Then we'll have to show them proof." Rena felt power building in the archive, responding to her presence. "The precursors left us more than just knowledge. They left us the tools to defend ourselves." The archive's energy merged with her artifact, and suddenly Rena could sense defensive systems hidden throughout the solar system, technology that had laid dormant for millions of years, waiting for the right moment to awaken. Above them, the Valari ships found themselves confronted by energy fields they couldn't penetrate. Their weapons, advanced as they were, couldn't affect the precursor defenses now responding to Rena's control. "You can't stop this," she transmitted to the Valari fleet. Humanity is waking up to their true potential. The time of suppression is over. You don't understand what you're doing, the Valari commander responded. The legacy you've awakened was meant to stay buried. Some powers are too dangerous to be wielded. That's where you're wrong. Rena stood in the heart of the archive, feeling the combined power of human potential and precursor technology flowing through her. The precursors chose us precisely because we understand the responsibility that comes with power. We're not looking to conquer or control like the Crixians. We just want the freedom to grow, to learn, to become what we were always meant to be. The archive systems suddenly highlighted another signal, more artifacts awakening across the galaxy, responding to humanity's rising awareness. The time of hiding was truly over. Prepare for emergency extraction, the Valari commander ordered his forces. The council must be informed immediately. As the Valari ships retreated, Rena felt a mix of triumph and concern. They had won this battle, but the war for humanity's future was just beginning. The Valari would return in force, and the Crixians would see Earth's awakening as both a threat and an opportunity. What now? She asked Thex. The crystalline being's form pulsed with determined energy. Now, we prepare. Earth's defenses must be strengthened. Your people must learn to use their awakening abilities responsibly. And we must find the remaining artifacts before our enemies can claim them. Rena nodded, watching as Earth's military forces began cautiously approaching the underwater facility. Through their shared connection, she could sense confusion, fear, and excitement spreading across her homeworld. Everything was about to change. Then let's get to work, she said. Humanity's waited long enough to claim their legacy. The Thorian nebula blazed with unnatural colors as Rena's ship navigated through its swirling gases. In the month since Earth's awakening, everything had changed. Humans across the galaxy had begun manifesting abilities as their dormant genetic potential activated, and the elder race's carefully maintained order was crumbling. Multiple ships detected ahead, Kai announced. Crixian signatures. Rena nodded, feeling the artifact's power humming through the ship's systems. They're after the same thing we are. The next artifact is hidden in this nebula, and they're determined to get it first. Thexa's crystalline form shifted anxiously. The Crixians have adapted quickly to the changing situation. They've begun integrating salvaged precursor technology into their weapons. Through the view screen, Rena watched Crixian warships methodically scanning the nebula. Their usual angular designs now bore patches of crystalline growth, crude but effective attempts to harness precursor power. They're doing it wrong, she muttered. The technology isn't meant to be forced. It has to be understood, accepted. Most beings fear what they cannot control, Thex observed. It is why the elder races chose suppression over understanding. A transmission cut through their discussion, not from the Crixian ships, but from deeper in the nebula. Unidentified vessel, this is Captain Darius Voss of the Earth Liberation Fleet. We've been waiting for you. Rena's eyes widened. The Liberation Fleet was a loose coalition of human ships that had broken away from Earth's official military, dedicated to claiming humanity's place among the stars. Their existence was technically illegal under the old treaties with the elder races. Captain Voss, she responded carefully, I wasn't aware the Liberation Fleet operated in this sector. Times change, Bearer Blake. We've established a hidden base within the nebula. Your broadcast from Earth reached every human colony and outpost. We're done hiding. The artifact pulsed with recognition, guiding their ship through a complex series of navigational points. The combined Valari-Crixian fleet filled the space around Saturn, their ships forming a barrier between Earth and the rest of the galaxy. After 3 months of humanity's rapid advancement, the elder races had finally decided on direct intervention. Their ultimatum was simple: surrender the precursor artifacts and accept strict oversight, or face immediate military action. Rena stood on the bridge of the precursor station they'd named Haven, watching the enemy fleet through enhanced sensors. The artifact at her side pulsed with steady energy, connected to a network of similar devices now awakened across human space. Their fleet numbers over 10,000 ships, Kai reported. Including 50 Valari dreadnoughts. All that firepower just to keep humanity in their place, Captain Voss mused, her liberation fleet assembled alongside Earth's official defense forces. They must be terrified. Thexa's crystalline form shifted with concern. The Valari have deployed their planet-killer weapons. They would rather destroy Earth than see humanity claim their full inheritance. Through the Nexus Keys network, Rena could feel the readiness of human forces throughout the solar system. In the months since their awakening, humanity had learned to use their inherited abilities with remarkable speed and wisdom. Every human ship now carried crews who could interface directly with their vessels, working in harmony with technology that had laid dormant for millions of years. Bearer Blake, the Valari High Commander's voice filled the communications channel. This is your final opportunity. The human species has proven unready for advanced technology. Your reckless awakening threatens the stability of the entire galaxy. Rena exchanged glances with her companions before responding. High Commander, I'm transmitting some data to your fleet. I suggest you review it carefully before taking any aggressive action. Through her connection to the precursor network, she sent the truth, not just data, but experiential knowledge. The Elder Race's ships received direct feeds showing humanity's achievements over the past months, colonies working together to terraform harsh worlds, ships combining human intuition with precursor technology to rescue stranded vessels, awakened humans using their abilities to heal and help rather than destroy. Impossible, the Crixian Admiral's harsh voice cut in. Our analysts report humans achieving cooperation rates that defy sociological models. Their power should have led to internal conflicts, civil wars. That's because you still don't understand, Rena replied. The precursors didn't choose humanity for our capacity for war. They chose us for our capacity to grow beyond it. Through the artifact's enhanced perception, she could sense confusion spreading through the enemy fleet as they processed the evidence. The Valari, in particular, seemed shaken by footage of human children instinctively understanding and respectfully using technology that their best scientists had failed to activate. This changes nothing, the High Commander declared, but uncertainty had crept into his voice. The stability of the galaxy requires. The galaxy doesn't need your kind of stability anymore, Voss interrupted. Look around you. Really look. The Nexus Keys network highlighted thousands of points of light throughout nearby space, hidden precursor installations awakening one by one, responding to humanity's call. Ancient defense platforms, research stations, and terraforming systems all stirring to life after millions of years of dormancy. You see weapons and tools of conquest, Rena explained. We see a network of knowledge and growth meant to be shared. The precursors didn't intend their legacy to be hoarded or controlled. They wanted it to nurture life throughout the galaxy. Suddenly, new ships began appearing around the enemy fleet, vessels of living crystal similar to Thexa's form. The Nomad Collective had finally chosen to reveal themselves. The time of hiding is over, Thex announced on all frequencies. We who preserve the true knowledge of the precursors recognize humanity as their chosen inheritors. The Great Suppression ends today. Through the artifact's connection, Rena felt a final system activating, a vast network of hyperspace gates that had laid dormant since the precursors' disappearance. Ancient transit routes reopened, connecting distant stars in ways the elder races had never imagined possible. You face a choice, she addressed the enemy fleet. Continue fighting to maintain control over a galaxy that's already changing, or work with us to build something better. The precursors believed in humanity's potential. Maybe it's time you did too. Minutes stretched into tense silence as the enemy commanders deliberated. Rena could sense the discord in their ranks, younger officers inspired by humanity's achievements, elder conservatives clinging to their ancient authority. Finally, the Valari High Commander spoke again. The Valari Council requests diplomatic talks. Perhaps there is wisdom we have forgotten in our long stewardship of the galaxy. The Crixian Empire will not bow to. The Admiral's transmission cut off as his own fleet commanders turned against him, tired of endless warfare. Rena smiled, feeling hope and possibility radiating through the precursor network. Then let's begin. Not as masters and subjects, but as equals. The galaxy's big enough for all of us to grow. The combined fleet began to disperse, weapons powering down as ancient enemies faced the prospect of peace. Through her connection to the artifact, Rena sensed similar scenes playing out across space, younger races awakening to their own potential, elder races coming to terms with a new reality. Well, Voss said, watching enemy ships departing, that's going to make for some interesting diplomatic sessions. Indeed, Thex agreed. The real work begins now. Building trust will take time. Rena looked out at the stars, feeling the infinite possibility that lay before them. The artifact pulsed warmly, its work as a key finally complete. Humanity had not just claimed their inheritance, they had proven worthy of it. Time is something we have plenty of now, she said. The precursors didn't want us to conquer the galaxy. They wanted us to help it evolve. And that's exactly what we're going to do. Around Haven Station, human ships began coordinating with their former enemies, sharing knowledge and resources. The first steps toward a new era were already being taken. Kai, Rena called to her faithful AI companion, set a course for the nearest awakening precursor facility. We've got a galaxy of possibilities to explore. As their ship departed, she felt the combined hopes of humanity flowing through the precursor network. They had broken free of their chains not through force or violence, but through understanding and wisdom. The stars finally lay open before them, not as a realm to be conquered, but as a frontier of endless discovery. The age of suppression was over. The age of collaboration had begun. And humanity, at last, was ready to help guide the galaxy toward its true potential.